If you're using your personal vehicle for your business, even just once in a while, you may be one accident away from a denied claim. And here's what most business owners don't realize. It's not the accident that hurts the most. It's finding out after the fact that your insurance company isn't going to cover it. Now you're dealing with vehicle damage, bodily injury claims, and possible lawsuits, all out of your own pocket. I've seen business owners lose thousands of dollars simply because they assumed they were covered. Here's the biggest misconception I hear all the time. My personal auto insurance covers me for business use. In most cases, it doesn't. And once that line is crossed, coverage can stop immediately. That's when you're stuck paying for repairs, medical bills, liability claims, and legal expenses on your own. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to break down who really needs commercial auto insurance, where business owners get this wrong, and how to properly protect your business vehicles and income. So let's get started. Now that we've set the stage, let's break this down in plain terms. Commercial auto insurance is designed specifically for vehicles used for business purposes. This is not the same as your personal auto policy. A commercial auto policy is built to handle higher liability exposure, which includes business-owned vehicles, employees driving on your behalf, transporting tools, equipment, or products. And here's an important detail many people don't know. Some insurance carriers will allow limited business use on a personal policy or allow personal use on a commercial auto policy. But, and this is key, that flexibility depends on the carrier, the underwriting, and how your policy is written. You can't assume coverage, you have to verify it. When you understand how your policy is written, you eliminate guesswork and make sure your business auto coverage actually works when you need it. Now let's talk about who this really applies to. You don't need a fleet of vehicles to need commercial auto insurance. If your vehicle is tied to how you generate income, it likely falls into this category. Contractors driving to job sites, real estate professionals meeting clients, delivery drivers and service providers, business owners transporting tools, materials, or inventory, and anyone using a vehicle for business operations. Even occasional business use can create a coverage gap. If your vehicle plays any role in your business operations, recognizing that early helps you avoid denied claims and keeps your income protected. Let's address the real reason many business owners avoid commercial auto insurance. It is simply cost. A commercial auto policy is typically more expensive than a personal auto policy. So what do people do? They try to save money by keeping a personal policy even though they're using the vehicle for business. But here's the problem, that short-term savings can turn into a long-term financial loss. Because when a claim happens and is tied to business use, that claim can be denied. So now you didn't save money, you just delayed a much bigger expense. Paying the right premium up front protects your business from a financial hit that could cost far more than the policy itself. Moving forward, let's talk about a group that sees some of the highest commercial auto insurance premiums, trucking and hauling companies. And there's a reason for that. These businesses operate at a much higher level of risk. Here's what you're dealing with. First, heavy commercial vehicles. 2, long distance driving. 3, increased time on the road. And lastly, higher severity accident potential. When a loss happens in trucking, it's rarely small. It often involves multiple vehicles, serious injuries, and major property damage. That's why commercial trucking insurance costs more. It reflects the level of exposure and liability involved. Understanding why premiums are higher helps you see that the cost is tied to protection, not just price, and that protection is what keeps a trucking business operating. Now, let's talk about something many business owners overlook, hired and non-owned auto coverage. Okay, let's start with hired auto. This is when you rent vehicles for business use. Next, we have non-owned auto. Now, this is when your employees use their personal vehicles for your business. And here's the issue with non-owned auto. If your employee gets into an accident while working for you, even in their own vehicle, your business can still be held liable. Now, in the end, hired and non-owned auto coverage helps protect your business from those liability claims. Let me give you a quick example for both. Let's start with non-owned or non-hired auto. Say you have an employee who uses their personal car to visit a client or run a work errand. On the way, they cause an accident. Their personal auto policy may respond first, but if the damages exceed their limits, your business can be pulled into the claim. Now, hired auto gap is when you rent a vehicle for a short-term job or project, and an accident happens, your business is still on the hook for liability. Both examples are where hired and non-owned auto coverage steps in to protect your business. This coverage closes a major liability gap and protects your business from risks you don't directly control. Now, let's talk about a high-risk area that many people overlook, which is transporting people. Most insurance carriers have very strict underwriting guidelines when it comes to transporting passengers. And in many cases, especially when you're transporting more than 5 people at a time, standard commercial auto policies may not even approve that risk. Why? Because the liability exposure increases significantly. You're not just responsible for 1 or 2 individuals. You could be responsible for multiple injuries in a single accident. That increases the potential for large claims, lawsuits, and higher payouts. This is why businesses like shuttle services, vans, church transportation, and group transport operations often require specialized commercial auto insurance or higher liability limits. Now let's shift to rideshare. Rideshare drivers like Uber or Lyft operate in what I call a hybrid space between personal and commercial auto insurance. Keep in mind, some personal auto policies exclude rideshare activity altogether, but the good thing is, some carriers do offer rideshare endorsements to your personal auto policy. The reason you need the rideshare endorsement is twofold. One, the rideshare companies themselves only provide limited coverage, normally only during the phase of the trip when the client is being transported to their destination, which means there can be gaps in coverage depending on when an accident happens. The rideshare endorsement covers you while you're on duty between client pickups in case an accident occurs en route. Now, if you want a deeper breakdown on how rideshare coverage actually works when you're covered, when you're not, and how to close those gaps, I have a separate video on rideshare you can check out that goes into more detail. Go to the description section for the link to that video. Now, the main thing is, if you're transporting people or driving for rideshare, understanding these coverage gaps helps you avoid serious liability exposure and ensures you're protected at every stage of the trip. Let me give you a real-world example. I worked with a contractor who used his personal pickup truck for work every day, tools in the back, job sites across town. One day, he got into an accident while heading to a job. He filed a claim, and it was denied. Why? Because he was using his personal auto coverage for business purposes. Now he's paying for everything out of pocket. That situation could have been avoided with the right commercial auto insurance policy in place. Now let me give you the flip side. I had another client, a small business owner, who had the right commercial auto coverage in place. Similar situation, accident while working. But this time, the policy covered the damages, handled the liability claim, and provided legal defense. The business kept operating without missing a beat. The right coverage doesn't just protect your vehicle. It protects your business continuity and your ability to keep making money. So here's what I want you to do. Ask yourself these questions. First, am I using my vehicle for any business activity? Second, do I transport tools, materials, or products? Third, do employees drive for my business? And lastly, would my current auto insurance policy cover a business-related claim? If there's any uncertainty, it's time for a commercial auto insurance review, because the worst time to find out you're not covered is after an accident. A simple review today can prevent a costly mistake tomorrow. Okay, let's be clear. Commercial auto insurance isn't about adding another expense or even an extra expense. It's about protecting how your business operates every day. If your vehicle helps you generate income, it needs to be protected like a business asset. Now, if this content was helpful, place a thumbs up in the comments section. This really helps with engagement and assists with pushing out this video to others. Also, word of mouth is good too. So please share this content with someone who may benefit from this topic. Then, check out my video library. I have information on home, auto, business, specialty insurance, and retirement. With all this being said, subscribe to my channel and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. But don't stop here. Check out my next video on your left for more insurance and financial tips. And as I like to say, call Jay today.